All right, so let's try this again. The last stream we had a problem, and so now we are back. So let's we're not gonna start it all the way over, but let's kind of get this introduction in as people start coming back in. So again, a lot of people were upset about the Myles Garrett trade, but the reality is it's the A.J. Brown trade that matters to most, or should matter the most, to Dallas Cowboys Nation, because the A.J. Brown trade, I believe, has absolutely almost solidified that the Dallas Cowboys are going to win the NFC East. And we're going to talk about how they're going to do it tonight. Also, man, I just got some news. I changed one of the topics. I just was looking at X about George Pickens, and I think this is going to be very interesting when we check this out. But nevertheless, let's talk Cowboys. We're about to talk facts. All right. We are not going to redo our introduction, but we will give everybody a couple of minutes to get back in. And so again, our subject matters for tonight will be the Myles Garrett trade, the A.J. Brown trade. We're going to look at how both of those affect the Cowboys season. We're going to look at the NFC East. We're going to look at the Pickens news that I just saw. And it's really not the Pickens news, but it affects George Pickens. We're going to look at the Christian Parker effect. We're going to look at the Cowboys Super Bowl aspirations. And then there's an article about the 100-day prediction as it pertains to the Dallas Cowboys. Man, I appreciate y'all rocking with me as everybody gets ready to come back in. There should not be any buffering going on right now. So, all right, let's go as everybody come in. Man, let me tell you something. The news will not stop coming. Man, I told y'all, this post-June 1st stuff, woo-wee. Man, I just saw, oh man, there it is. Nah, this ain't it, hold on. We're gonna talk about it here in just a moment. This will be kind of breaking news. Let me see. Let me pull something up while y'all are coming back in. Wow. Boy, let me tell y'all. This George Pickens thing next season, it is going to be absolutely off the chain. We're not going to have anything to worry about this year. I believe he's going to come to the mandatory mini camp. I think he's going to do all of the Oxnard, California stuff. I think he's going to play the season. But I can tell you now, after this season, oh my gosh, George Pickens is going to hit the proverbial lottery. He is going to hit the proverbial lottery. Telling you right now, it is on and popping. He gonna hit the lottery. All right. We're gonna give it one more minute. We kind of already did a roll call. We're gonna give it one more minute, and then we're gonna get started on the show. Got about an hour and 15-minute show planned out for the day. Actually, I had longer than that, but this doggone internet in Dallas today. I don't know what in the world is going on, man. Nah, Bass, we ain't got Brooks. This ain't about us signing somebody. It's about somebody else getting signed that is absolutely going to affect George Pickens. Yeah, it's going to be a big deal right here, man. What it do? What's going on, Enoch Taylor? What is going on, Tony Neesmo? The Queen. What is going on, Queen? Christian Legal. You said there's rumors circulating about 3 linebackers the Cowboys are looking at. Okay, I want to see where the rumors are coming from. Or is that coming from somebody else? Is that coming from somebody else? I want to see it. Let me know where you found that at. I've already been kind of hearing content creators talk about this. Haven't heard Dallas talking about this. All right. So, let's get this thing started. All right. Appreciate y'all rocking with me. Uh-oh, wait a minute. Who is this? Monique Green said, you're mistaken if you think because A.J. Byrne is gone that you're going to take this division. That talk about George, do you really think he's going to go out there and play his best He has no choice. Monique Green, let me address the first thing. Actually, we'll address that more as we get to the A.J. Brown trade, Monique Green. I'm not going to try to change your mind. I'm just going to tell you where it is. I mean, I'm just going to tell you what I'm seeing. And then as it applies to George Pickens, we'll address that when we get to this news about George Pickens. All right. What is going on, Glenn Hairston? All right, so let's get back to where I was. The Myles Garrett trade. There are people who are creating a narrative that the Dallas Cowboys are not aggressive enough. And I will agree the Cowboys have not been aggressive enough in the past. But as it applies to this Myles Garrett trade, people who are saying the Cowboys are not aggressive enough, people who are saying the Cowboys could have absolutely won that Myles Garrett trade, I got news for you. The Dallas Cowboys were never winning that Myles Garrett trade. They were never winning it. And the reason why they were not winning it is because the relentlessness of the Los Angeles Rams. They have a plan. They have an absolute plan. And I believe that plan is if they can get that Super Bowl now, we might not even see Matthew Stafford next year. I mean, they'll owe him a lot of dead cap money, but they won't care about that. And even if that does happen, they'll just say, okay, well, let's roll with it. We got it for 2 years. We going for broke. Because after that, it'll be broke once again, and they'll have to kind of get them wheels back on there. But let me tell y'all this. For people, now, again, I mentioned the Bible scripture. That whoever overcomes you, they control you. Whoever overcomes your thinking. So I'm just telling you, be careful who you're listening to. Make sure you get all the facts before you jump to conclusions. And the conclusion is based on the absolute facts. The Dallas Cowboys were never beating the Rams in the Myles Garrett sweepstakes. When the Philadelphia Eagles have to back out of a sweepstakes for a player, and we absolutely know the Philadelphia Eagles. We already know Howie Roseman. If there is anybody that can manipulate numbers and manipulate a cap, it is Howie Roseman. Even Howie Roseman had to back out on Myles Garrett. Even Howie Roseman had to back out on Myles Garrett. They didn't have, I said it before, they didn't have the assets. They didn't have the assets to get Myles Garrett. It had nothing to do with being aggressive. They didn't have the assets. And you say, and some may say, well, they did have the assets. Well, the issue is, just like the Philadelphia Eagles, with what they were asking for, the Eagles could have made the trade. The Eagles were not willing to give up the players that they wanted from the Eagles. And what they wanted to do to the Eagles is they wanted to decimate the Philadelphia Eagles offensive line. They wanted to decimate it. And the Eagles said, no, we're not giving you Carter. We're not doing it. Because the Browns were determined. For everybody who's saying, oh, the Browns, they're just going to throw away. The Browns are not throwing away the season. Todd Monken isn't coming in there and they're going to try to tank the season to go out and get an unproven quarterback. No, this is going to be the year, I believe, that they're going to give Shedeur Sanders a full look. An absolute full look. They still want to win while giving Shedeur Sanders that full look. They wanted a player from somebody. They wanted a player that whoever they traded with, they had to give them a player that could still come on their defense and still make an impact. And that's what I was telling y'all yesterday. And this was before I even heard this news late last night. But again, when you look at this Dallas Cowboys defense, let's look at the Dallas Cowboys roster just for a moment. If you look at the defensive player that the Browns would have wanted, there is only one player on this defense that makes sense that the Browns would have wanted, and his name is Quinnen Williams. What in the world? How dumb would it look for the Cowboys to give up Quinnen Williams, and he's one of the main things of the Green Bay Packers trade. What? Why would they give up Quinnen Williams? There is no way. There is no way they were giving up Quinnen Williams. The Cowboys weren't giving up Quinnen Williams. And then if you look offensively, the only tradable player on the offense pretty much is George Pickens. The Cowboys, there's no way they were giving up George Pickens. They just were not going to do it. And this is the very reason why the Rams backed out. And again, Pittman, you don't have to buy what I'm telling you. I'm giving you the facts. You don't have to agree with it. I'm not telling you this so that you will agree with it. I'm telling you what the absolute facts are. Now, if you don't want to agree with the facts, you don't have to agree with the facts. And I'm about to let you hear the facts. So I'm not interested in what anybody is buying. I want your opinion, but I'm just not buying it. Because I'm telling you what the absolute facts are. The Browns wanted players. And they were not doing this trade without players. They wanted a player and they wanted draft picks. And they were not doing it otherwise. That's what the Browns wanted. The Cowboys, the only two that make sense is Quinnen Williams on defense. Why would you give away Quinnen Williams? It would be the dumbest thing you could have ever done. Why would you give away Quinnen Williams? He's one of the best things so far that you've gotten from the trade. George Pickens, off the table. There's no way the Cowboys were going to give them George Pickens. You actually need George Pickens now when you look at the kind of defense they're going to be going up against with the Rams. Now, let me give you the proof. So you don't think I'm just telling you this. Let me give you the proof. The proof is in the conversation with Ian Rappaport. This came out after we got off the stream yesterday.
Yeah.
Listen to what Ian Rappaport says. And this solidifies everything I'm saying. I saw the Jalen Carter thing this morning. They even made the Eagles say uncle. Even the Eagles said uncle in pursuing Myles Garrett because what the Browns were asking for. They said, no, we're not doing it. We're not giving you Jalen Carter. Why would you gut the middle to get the outside when you need the middle so that if you get an outside rusher, it's that much more potent? We've already had the problem of having an outside rusher with nobody in the middle. And the Cowboys are saying they're not doing it. The Eagles are saying they're not doing it. And this is why you didn't see, if you will notice, this is why you didn't see a gang of teams trying to get Myles Garrett. You didn't see a gang of teams trying to do it. Why? They didn't have the assets. It's not about how aggressive the Cowboys were not. I believe the Cowboys were aggressive, just like I believe the Eagles were aggressive. But let me tell you something. They were never beating the Rams. And Ian Rappaport is about to tell us why. Listen to this.
Understanding, and this is something I'm reporting with Adam Schefter and Tom Pelissero, is that the Los Angeles Rams were the team. They were the team. They were persistent. They reached out to the Cleveland Browns wanting to trade for Myles Garrett around the time when the Browns adjusted Myles Garrett's contract to move some bonuses.
Let that sink in. Let that part sink in. Andrew Berry verified this. Andrew Berry said they never planned on trading Myles Garrett. He said they didn't plan on trading him. But they did make him tradable. But he said they were not trading him. But the real issue is, they were looking for the offer that they couldn't refuse. That's what they were looking for. They were looking for who would give them the offer that they couldn't refuse. And the Rams, just listen to how Ian Rappaport words this. It is absolutely incredible when you think about it. Just listen to how he words it.
Up a little bit. The Browns said, no, he is not available. The Rams tried again after the draft and said, we want him. Here's more. Here's more. They said no.
Now, follow this. This is how I'm telling you I know the Cowboys were not going to be able to pull this off, because this is the very reason why the Eagles couldn't pull it off. And we know Howie Roseman is an all-in GM. This is why Howie Roseman couldn't pull it off. Because the Rams, every time the Browns said no, guess what the Rams came back and did? They brought something more. They brought something more. They brought something more. And they brought something more. I'm telling you, the Cowboys would have found themselves in a situation the same way the Eagles would have found themselves in a similar situation. If the Eagles would have been ultra aggressive, as in trying to get Myles Garrett, they probably would have found themselves without Jalen Carter. And what if they're just for giggles? What if the Cowboys come back and say, "Oh, okay, you're gonna give away Carter"? Then the Cowboys say, "I don't know, we'll throw in Pickens." And then what if the Rams come back again and say, "Well, we're gonna give you our other defensive end"? I'm just telling us, Ian Rappaport is dropping megaton bombs on this whole situation. It's not the aggressiveness as much as it is the relentlessness of the Rams. They were determined to get Myles Garrett. And I believe they were willing to give up even more. I do. I believe they were willing to give up even more. And the Cowboys just couldn't do it. And it's not that they couldn't do it. It didn't make sense to do it. You cannot gut the defensive tackles on this team. And I'm talking not even one of them. After you've traded Osa Odigizua, you can't get rid of Kenny Clark or Quinnen Williams. Because if you get rid of Kenny Clark or Quinnen Williams, it absolutely defeats the purpose of the Michael Parsons trade. It defeats the purpose. You could not let go of those two players. And it's the same thing happened with the Eagles. They were not allowing Jalen Carter to get out of the middle of that defense. The Philadelphia Eagles turned them down cold. And the Rams, follow what Ian Rappaport has been saying. Man, they were basically stalking the Browns. They were stalking the Browns. They were stalking them. They stayed on the phone. We'll give you this. We'll give you this. What about this? We'll give you this. Do you realize that they made this adjustment to Myles Garrett contract, way back in March? It's June. They were working hard. As Michael Jackson said, got me working day and night.
Oh, he is not available. Okay, well, then they said, what if we included Jared Verse? Well, that was someone the Cleveland Browns have had eyes on for a long time. When Jared Verse was suddenly in the deal, the picks got moved around a little bit. It got to a point where the two teams said, you know what? This could actually happen. They're expected to agree in totality later today. Right now, they are finalized.
There it is. They threw in Jared Verse. And let me tell you something about Jared Verse. People are sleeping on this dude. If you don't know, you need to know. People are sleeping on this dude. This dude is about to have a breakout. Now, we'll see what he do with the Browns, but I'm telling you, he was about to break out with the Rams. We'll see what he do with the Browns, but he was about to break out with the Rams. The Rams didn't want to part with him, but they felt like their other defensive end, who's got more sacks than him, I forget the guy's name, but he actually had 12 sacks, so he'll be opposite of Myles Garrett. So they felt like, well, we got him. We can afford to let go of Verse. Cowboys were not willing to do it. I don't blame them. Because the only player on defense they could even be asking for is Quinnen Williams. I'm not giving them Quinnen Williams. George Pickens, not giving them George Pickens either. I'm not. I'm not going to weaken the offense. I'm not going to weaken the offense and then put all of this on the defense to say, well, y'all got to come out the box banging. We still got to wait and see, let this thing get time to jail, even with Myles Garrett, which I think it would have got up to speed faster. But at the same time, I'm just telling you, I even listened to something that Sean McVay was saying today. No, they were not going to be beat on Myles Garrett. They are the type of team They are the type of team, the Rams are, that basically if you beat them, you actually lose. If you beat the Rams in a bidding war, that means that you have actually gutted your team and you have actually made it worse than it was before. You may get your player, but your defense ain't going to be the same. That's the reason why the Eagles were not willing to do it. And I'm telling you right now, this is why the Cowboys backed out too. This is why the Cowboys backed out. I don't think this was a matter of the Cowboys not being aggressive enough. And I'm going to tell you right now, you know what? People can love this, like this, or hate what I'm about to say. But I don't want the Cowboys making moves to try to please the ego of Cowboys fans, the media, or anybody else. Don't make moves so people can say, oh, yeah. No. Don't make moves so people will say, oh, yeah. You make moves that make sense. But I'll be honest with you, I'm not sure they were asking for George Pickens. If anything, but think about this. The Cowboys actually approached the Browns about a trade in the draft to move up, and it was a very good offer. And what did the Browns do? The Browns turned the Dallas Cowboys down cold. And I wouldn't be surprised, being honest with you, I wouldn't be surprised if they turned the Dallas Cowboys down cold on the offer that they made this time. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised. But I do think we're jumping to conclusions to say that the Cowboys were not aggressive. Now, if you were telling me this 2 years ago, I would agree with you. But this year, when you look at what the Cowboys have actually been doing, the Cowboys, they went after Max Crosby hard. They went after Max Crosby hard. We basically found out that it got to the point that the Cowboys were actually willing to give up the 12th round draft pick that they got Caleb Downs with. They were willing to give that up. I believe they were aggressive in this, but they were never beating the Rams. I'm just sorry. They were never beating the Rams in the Myles Garrett sweepstakes. They were never beating them. I'm sorry, that's the cold hard facts. Ian Rappaport is telling us exactly what we need to know. They were never beating them. Now, if anybody want to use this as an excuse and say, oh, it's the same old Cowboys, I don't think it's the same old Cowboys. Because when I hear that the Eagles are involved and they turn it down too, tells me everything I need to know. It tells me everything I need to know. If the Eagles stop, shoot. Hey, if it was just the Cowboys, I could go with it. But when you're talking about the Eagles backed out of this too, no. See, and this is what I was talking about even last year. Some things we make into a Cowboy issue, and they're not really Cowboy issues. We make them into Cowboy issues, but they're really not Cowboys issues. Myles Garrett isn't a Cowboys issue. Myles Garrett is actually nobody was beating the Rams in getting Myles Garrett. That is exactly what Ian Rappaport is reporting. You can love it, we can love it, like it, or hate it. But that's what Ian Rappaport is saying. Nobody was beating the Rams. They were relentless. They were relentless. They gave a 1, a 2, a 3. I wouldn't be surprised if somebody would have stepped in. They'd have gave a 1, a 1, and a 3. They'd have came back with another offer. They'd have made a 1, and a 2. They would have made a 1, and a 1. And still threw in Jared Verse. Nobody, I'm telling us right now, nobody was beating the Rams in this Myles Garrett sweepstakes. Nobody was beating. Nobody was beating them. Nobody was beating them. Tell me anything you want to. I appreciate any feedback. They were not beating the Rams. They were not. And that is exactly what Ian Rappaport is saying. D-Block 88. He said it'll be another year that we don't go to the bowl. Hold on, D-Block. Hold on. We said this same thing last year about the Micah Parsons trade. I'm telling you, this sounds exactly like the Micah Parsons conversation. Oh, the Green Bay Packers, they're going. Nobody's going to stop the Green Bay Packers. Really? Did the Green Bay Packers host the Lombardi Trophy this year? They did not hoist the Lombardi Trophy. They did not. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not telling you that Myles Garrett doesn't help their chances out exponentially. It don't mean they're going. They got to do what everyone else has to do. They have to make sure they can stay healthy. Everybody has to do that, including us. Everybody. D Block said, G, let me ask you a question. Is the Cowboys defense Super Bowl worthy? We don't know yet. I would tell you, no. We don't know yet. Because we haven't seen what it is. And not only that, D Block, it's only June the 2nd. We don't know if the Cowboys are going to add Jordan Brooks, because I'm actually wanting the Cowboys to add Jordan Brooks rather than adding Josh Sweat. I'm not really interested in Josh Sweat. I'm telling y'all there are some issues going on with Josh Sweat. I'm not sold on Josh Sweat. I would rather have Jordan Brooks over Josh Sweat, because I believe that it hasn't actually been the defensive line that has been the problem. When you look at last year, it wasn't as much the defensive line as it was our linebackers were terrible and our back end was terrible. It looks like we fixed the back end. The linebacker situation, it looks pretty good. I think D Winters kind of anchored it down. But if you got Brooks, oh no, you next level. You are next level with a player like Brooks. Your defense is next level with a player like Brooks. I'd rather have Brooks than Josh Sweat. And again, as it applies to the Dallas Cowboys defense, hey, all I'm going to tell you is there's a lot riding on this thing with Christian Parker. There's a lot riding on it. That's all I'm going to tell you. Let me read these super chats, and then we're going to get, I'm going to read some of the comments, then we're going to move on to A.J. Brown. Because at the end of the day, the Myles Garrett thing is spilled milk. It's just spilled milk. And a lot of people are mad over nothing. Because in the grand scheme of things, I'm telling you, I don't care what, I'm not listening to what anyone's saying, because Ian Rappaport has given us the gospel on this. The Rams have been talking since March. The Rams have been on the Browns since March. I wouldn't be surprised if the Cowboys have been making calls, and I wouldn't be surprised if anybody else. But it's the Rams. What did Ian Rappaport say? The Rams were the team. They were the team. They were relentless. They were not letting this go. Frank Lawrence said, while everybody busy squawking about Garrett, one Christian Parker quietly building a killer defense in Dallas. New scheme, nobody's got film on. And we're going to talk about that in a moment. One of Christian Parker's, I believe, ex-players, I got something, an interview with, I was listening, and I found an interview from yesterday, and he was talking about Christian Parker. Real estate vet, appreciate you. He said, Browns took a page out of Jerry's book. Same thing we did with Parsons. No, we not trading him. Then boom, the right offer comes over. Yep. Real estate vet, that is basically saying, give me an offer that I can't refuse. And the Rams said, hold my drink. The Rams said, hold my drink. And I guarantee you the Cowboys made him a good offer. But the Cowboys couldn't give them Quentin Williams, couldn't give them Kenny Clark. It would defeat the whole purpose. You got to keep you got to keep Kenny Clark and Quentin Williams. You got to figure out how to improve your defense while keeping those two players. Brandy, Myles Garrett is in the NFC. We're going to talk about that as we get to the NFC East. We're going to talk about that. But again, the Myles Garrett thing, I'm just telling you, Ian Rappaport is spelling that out perfectly. Nobody was beating the Rams. It's just the bottom line. Nobody was beating them. DZ said we still need to try for Max Crosby. You know, Jerry seemed pretty resolved on not getting Max Crosby, but it's only June. And this is another place where I caution everybody. It's only June. It's only June. You know, to condemn the Cowboys in June is mad work. It's crazy work. No, let's just wait and see. We got a long offseason, guys. A long offseason. What up, Rennie Zanguini? He says Rams is moving differently from the Packers. They got other two great players on defense, McDuffie and they got 4 players. And they're trying to get Aaron Donald out of retirement. We're gonna see. They reported today. I got all kinds of videos on that. I'm trying to put on my other channel, but people have been texting Aaron Donald. They've been asking Aaron Donald. They have been all kinds of ways trying to get Aaron Donald to come out of retirement. Christian Legal said Rams were predicted to go to the Super Bowl last year, and Seattle went there. Nobody predicted Seattle to go. Yeah. No, Jerry's not done, D-Block. Watch what I tell you. Jerry is not done. You watch what I tell you. Jabril, you said Josh Sweat turned us down. I'm not sure about that. I'd like to know where you got that from. I'm not doubting you as in saying you're lying. I just want to know where you got it from. I'd definitely like to get it because I'd like to report on it if it happened. Yeah, he gonna get somebody else. Watch what I tell you, D-Block. They're gonna get somebody else. Bass, you're hitting this right on the head. This is really the Cowboys' main focus. You said they have a team that can stop the run. We saw that last year, but they can't cover. Now, this is what the Cowboys are trying to do. The Cowboys are trying to get a team to stop the run. And I think they've done that. Dominique said, then what's stopping them from getting him? Why wait until June 1st? Who are we talking about? Who are we talking about on who? I'm sorry. Who are we waiting? What's stopping them from getting him? Who are we talking about? I'm sorry. Okay, so Josh Sweat. Okay, so maybe I haven't noticed that I've been doing other things. You're saying that Josh Sweat went to the Green Bay Packers? I haven't heard that, so that's why I'm asking. Glenn Harrison said he saw what Josh Sweat wants the Packers are back to Philly. Okay, I'm going to have to do some research on that. I haven't seen that anywhere. Well, I would agree with you, D-Block, that we were talking about 2 years ago. But everything we've seen the Cowboys do since the Michael Parsons trade, it's been absolutely great. I think it's been absolutely great. So I'm not buying that part. But if it was 2 years ago, I could agree with you. But we're gonna see what happens. But the Cowboys they've been on point. They have been on point since the Michael Parsons trade. There will be blood said, yeah, I said it before. Fans don't know how impactful Brooks would be as well. I dare to say he would be just as impactful as Garrett. I'll tell you this. Jordan Brooks ain't nothing to sleep on. Jordan Brooks is a monster. And I believe Jordan Brooks, you get him on the team. I believe it even makes Rashawn Gary even better. Even better. Glenn Harrison says, I believe this Brooks or Robo-Les Crosby and we're in the Super Bowl. I believe they're going to go after Brooks. Jordan Brooks, I believe that's who they're going to circle the block on. They're going to circle the block on him. Demetrius said, G, Cowboys fans are sad. Discounting all what the Cowboys did because of one trade that might not materialize into what people are assuming. Demetrius Noel, this is the comment of the night already. It's the comment of the night. And it is one of the most frustrating things to me about Cowboys Nation at times. There are people out there. They've made a career off of criticizing the Cowboys. They've made a career off of it. And those same people, they captivate so many people out there in the Cowboys stratosphere. And then they start regurgitating that same stuff. When you look at all of the things the Cowboys have done, it is literally insanity to me. that people will discount everything the Cowboys have done because they didn't get Myles Garrett. It makes no sense. It makes no sense. JCT Slice, he said, I love it that A.J. Brown is out of the NFC East, and it's going to be big for the Cowboys, I believe. Now we'll get to truly see what Hurts can do with less like Dak has had to do in several years. Let's go. We still have 4. Man, I'm going to tell you something, JCT Slice. This isn't even about A.J. Brown as much as it is about, I believe they got a Saquon. I think they have a Saquon Barkley that is on the decline. I believe they have a Saquon Barkley that is absolutely on the decline, and a Saquon Barkley who has already pretty much decided that he's probably going to be out of the NFL in another year or two. I believe the Philadelphia Eagles, Howie Roseman is going to have to find a way to retool that team. Okay, Dominique, you're talking about Brooks or Sweat. Now, from what my understanding is, the Cowboys are already kind of talking to Josh Sweat. Now, Dominique, so again, I'm just asking the question. So why would you think the Cowboys have waited to June the 1st to talk to Jordan Brooks? We have seen multiple reports. The Cowboys have circled back around to Jordan Brooks at least 2 times, I believe. Maybe even 3. The Dallas Cowboys keep going back to Miami as it applies to Jordan Brooks. They keep going back. Now, we have to understand when we're talking about a player like Jordan Brooks, do you really think the Miami Dolphins are just going to give him away for nothing? They're playing the game the way you should play the game. When you got a player like Brooks, you want to see what team is willing to give you what you want for Brooks. Brooks isn't over there causing a stink. Brooks isn't over there throwing a fit. Brooks is quiet over there in Miami. There's nothing going on with Brooks. So he already knows that he's going to get paid. So at the end of the day, somebody's going to have to come with, at least right now, somebody's got to come with what the Miami Dolphins have. Because when you think about Jordan Brooks, you don't think they know Jordan Brooks is a great linebacker? Sometimes I'm just telling this, man. Sometimes I just wonder what are we thinking when we're talking about these things? They're not that simple as we want them to be. And if we're not paying attention, Ian Rappaport just explained something. Do we not realize that the Rams have been working on this trade with Myles Garrett for 2 months? And they've been going back and going back and going back and going back. Well, Dominique, these are circular reasons. I guess we can go circular on this all we want to. But you don't build a Super Bowl team in a day. It takes time to build a Super Bowl team. Just like it took the Seahawks. It takes time to build a Super Bowl team. The Dallas Cowboys going 7-9-1 last year. This is one thing we all know. If the defense would have played better, they make the playoffs. They wouldn't have been 7-9-1. They made a mistake on defense. They've already said it. I don't know what else we want them to say. They made a mistake on defense. They fired the mistake on defense. They got Christian Parker. They got BT Jordan. They got a better defensive staff. They got better players on defense. Now let's watch it work. Let's let the cake cook. Lynn said, I was listening to Vouch and Brian Broderson. They were saying how the edge rushers are overrated and how defensive tackles have more of a value. Lynn, how long have I been making that argument? How long have I been making that argument, Lynn? I just made that same argument. How long have I been making that? How long have I been making that argument? I showed I showed the graph. I showed all the edge rushers the other day. As far as we know, the only one of them that has a Super Bowl is Josh Sweat. None of the rest of them have Super Bowls. I think there is a correlation there. And so, again, when you start talking about trades, you can't trade a player that a team isn't willing to trade. And I'm telling you right now, the Miami Dolphins know what they have in Jordan Brooks. They're not just going to throw Jordan Brooks. They're not just going to give the Dallas Cowboys Jordan Brooks because the Cowboys say, hey, man, we'll take Jordan Brooks. They're not going to do that. No, they want more. They want more. And they're going to try to get more from the Dallas Cowboys. If the Cowboys want Jordan Brooks, they're going to have to give up more. Christian Legal, he says he's going to laugh if the Rams don't make the playoffs. I'm going to tell you this, don't be surprised. Don't be surprised. He said if they get beat in the first round because everybody thinks they have Myles Garrett, they've automatically going. Keep watching. That's why it's called the NFL. Everybody's got to play this game, man. Everybody's got to play this game. Just keep watching. I'm excited for this season. I want to see what they do. Superstar status. I appreciate you. You said I don't often agree with you, but honestly, I don't think Jerry would go after Brooks when you add up all the resources he poured into the position already. So let me tell you, though, but the Cowboys already have went after Jordan Brooks. They've went after Jordan Brooks already. Not once, more than once. They've already went after Jordan Brooks. The holdup on Jordan Brooks is the Dolphins. The holdup on Jordan Brooks is not the Dallas Cowboys. It is the Miami Dolphins. They're the ones who are not trying to part with one Jordan Brooks. You got to understand. I mean, they know what they have over there with Jordan Brooks. If anybody wants Jordan Brooks, the Miami Dolphins are saying the same thing the Browns said. Y'all want Jordan Brooks? I'm going to need a little bit more. I'm going to need a little bit more if you want Jordan Brooks, because Jordan Brooks is out there. They have an unresolved contract. They already know what this is. They know what they have over there. They're not just giving this man away for nothing. I believe the Cowboys are going to circle the block on Jordan Brooks. I just don't know if they're going to get him. Yeah, Lynn said I was laughing when they said that. I said to myself, G said that. Lynn, I've been saying it. These great edge rushers don't guarantee you Super Bowls. Now, if you get a great edge rusher and you got what these defensive tackles like the Cowboys have, you got these defensive tackles like the Eagles have, you have these defensive tackles like the Kansas City Chiefs have, man, you knock a lot of teams off like that. Yeah, you can knock a lot of teams off when you do that. Yeah. All right, so let me show you, because I don't know. I'm going to have to show you. I guess this is Dominique Pittman. Dominique said, can someone show me the report where they went after Brooks? Yeah, I can show it to you. The Cowboys have went after Jordan Brooks multiple times. This was actually even reported during the draft. The Cowboys called the Dolphins during the draft. That was actually reported too. Cowboys have made multiple swings. So I'll give you this report right here. This report was actually on April the 25th. And it's from a reputable, let me show you, let me show you. Let me show you Dominique Pittman. This is actually from a reputable source, Yahoo Sports. And matter of fact, the name I see on this article is Mike Fisher. Says right here, this weekend offered another opportunity, and in the end, after 2 days of action here inside the Star, Dallas has made 2 linebacker-related moves, but only after another pair of what critics might call swing and misses. We reported weeks ago that Dallas was interested in pursuing a trade for either Jordan Brooks of the Dolphins or Azeez Al-Shaair of the Texans. And now ESPN is reporting that the Cowboys indeed engaged in trade discussions with those clubs, but what those teams wanted in return was too much. I'm just telling us we can say what we want to, but we argue with facts. We argue with facts. We argue with facts and we argue against facts. We do it all the time. You can give us, I can give you facts, I can give people facts, and they'll say, I don't believe it. I've actually even reported on this before. This isn't the first time I've reported on this. It is well known out there in the trade sphere. The Dallas Cowboys have went after Jordan Brooks multiple times now. Multiple times. And it is the Miami Dolphins who are turning the Dallas Cowboys down. It's the Dolphins that's turning the Dallas Cowboys down. It's not the Cowboys not going after Jordan Brooks. The Miami Dolphins know what they have in Jordan Brooks. And this is you got to know what the value is of what you have. The Miami Dolphins ain't giving away Jordan Brooks for some popsicle sticks. They want something in return. And what the Cowboys got to do and be careful of doing, the Cowboys can't rob Peter to pay Paul. You can't give away a great player to get a great player, because I guarantee you, when you start talking about the Cowboys trading players, you're going to have to give up somebody that maybe hurts you by giving them up, even if you do get that player. Or they're not interested in the player you're willing to give. Bernard Fields, appreciate that super chat. He said they can get a few players for the price of a Crosby or Garrett. Gee, since depth has been the issue of the past. Yes. I think this is one of the reasons why they're wanting Jordan Brooks. Real estate vet, you say you think the Raiders are doing the same thing with Crosby. Well, I think the Raiders are basically saying, you're gonna have to give us more. You're gonna have to give us more. And like I said, Dominique, here's the problem. You're just not gonna agree. You're not going to believe anything. But they have went after Jordan Brooks multiple times. This was actually talked about during the draft. This isn't just Mike Fisher. Mike Fisher isn't the only one that reports this. 70s Fan Show said, what do you think the Dolphins want? More than what the Cowboys have. I think they're wanting more than what the Cowboys have. 70s Fan Show, if I was a betting man, 70s Fan Show, let me tell you something about Jordan Brooks. Jordan Brooks is absolutely worth a first-round draft pick. Bottom line. I said this when I talked about it in the past. Jordan Brooks is worth the first-round pick. Jordan Brooks is absolutely worth the first-round pick. You can't anybody coming to talk to the Miami Dolphins, they can't come talking about Jordan Brooks with a third-round pick. No, you got to come with a first-round pick for Jordan Brooks. Bottom line, I just believe he's a first-round draft pick linebacker. He was already a first-round draft pick linebacker. He's an absolute beast. If you're gonna come to the Miami Dolphins talking about Jordan Brooks, it's got to be a first-round pick. Bottom line. Bottom line. And I don't know if the Cowboys haven't offered a first-round pick. All I'm telling us is it has been reported multiple times. The Cowboys have actually been aggressively trying to get Jordan Brooks to the Dallas Cowboys. We'll see. But again, I'm not crying about the AJ. I'm not crying about the Myles Garrett thing. And I'm going to show you why. And people should stop crying about the Myles Garrett trade. It's time to move on from the Myles Garrett trade. Bottom line, it is so time to move on from the Myles Garrett trade. And the reason why it is time to move on from the Myles Garrett trade. It's time to move on from the Myles Garrett trade because in the grand scheme of things, Myles Garrett doesn't change anything the Cowboys are doing. He doesn't change anything the Cowboys are doing. The Cowboys must continue to do what they've been doing. The Cowboys have got to continue to improve this team. And now they got to let this get on the field with their coaches. We got to start letting this thing develop and see what it's going to be. So the Cowboys just got to keep doing what they've been doing. Just keep doing what they've been doing. And they have done a great job of player acquisition so far. They've done a great job. I mean, I was a little bit afraid when they did the Michael Parsons trade. Like, what would they turn those 2 first-round picks into? Well, when you look at what they basically turned one of those first-round picks, 2 of those first-round picks into, I guess you could say in a sense, they got Quinnen Williams. They were able to do some things, and they were able to get Malachi Lawrence. So the Cowboys, man, they've done some good things since they've done the trade. And so now they just got to keep doing what they're doing. But when you look at the NFC East, and with the absence of A.J. Brown, and with everything that's going on with Jalen Hurts, there are some serious issues going on with Jalen Hurts. We're going to see what they do this year offensively, but it's a known fact that Jalen Hurts does not want to throw to the middle of the football field. And a lot of teams are recognizing this. Jalen Hurts wants to only throw to the outside. Well, now you've taken away A.J. Brown. And anybody who thinks that A.J. Brown isn't a big deal, that A.J. Brown leaving the Philadelphia Eagles isn't a big deal, it is a huge deal. It is a huge deal to lose a player like A.J. Brown. Even though Jalen Hurts wasn't throwing to A.J. Brown a lot. And I know this is one of the issues that A.J. Brown had, and I don't blame him. But at the end of the day, as a team facing the Eagles, you still had to prepare for A.J. Brown. You now just took a weapon from Jalen Hurts, even though he wasn't using him as much as he probably needed to. A.J. Brown, teams will not have to prepare for him no more. And I'm just telling us right now, Devontae Smith will be way. He will be way easier to prepare for than Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown. Now, I know they got this new wide receiver for the Eagles, and I know they're excited about him. But all those wide receivers we saw last year, all these guys who we were talking about and how great they were going to be, the only one of those wide receivers at this point that really showed up and showed out was Tedera McMillan. The rest of those wide receivers, there's a pretty big learning curve coming into this league. And so I forgot the wide receiver the Eagles drafted. I forgot the wide receiver that they drafted. Who was this guy they drafted? Mekhi Lemon. So they drafted Mekhi Lemon. And Mekhi Lemon is going to be a great receiver in this league, I believe. But to put the pressure on Mekhi Lemon to be a great wide receiver day one, that's going to be tough. Man, he been playing against college. Man, he been playing against college corners, man. He ain't played against these pro corners. Lemon finna be playing against some pro corners. Hey man, he gonna have to get them legs up under him. It is going to really hurt the Eagles to not have A.J. Brown. And I know what people do. The moment somebody leave a team, everybody starts saying, who cares? They'll still win without A.J. Okay, you keep thinking that A.J. Brown didn't mean a lot to the doggone Philadelphia Eagles. Keep on thinking that. This dude, A.J. Brown, is different. Watch what he looks like when he gets to the Patriots. Watch what he looks like when he gets the ball. He's the primary receiver, and they're going to feed him. Watch what he looks like. Watch what this dude look like. You don't throw away a receiver like A.J. Brown. You just don't do it. The Philadelphia Eagles, even though they got Mekhi Lemon, that to me is more of a future pick. I don't view Mekhi Lemon as a pick to say, yeah, he taking A.J. Brown place. No, I'm not buying it. I'm not buying him taking the place of A.J. Brown. DeVar's Worley said Lemon hurt in practice. Already breaking news with the Eagles. Yep. B Mick said Lemon already sitting out OTAs limping. Yep. Mm-hmm. I'm telling us, man, you don't replace AJ Brown like that. You just don't do it. You don't replace AJ Brown. This is going to weaken an Eagles team that Saquon Barkley, I got to see what Saquon Barkley looks like this year. Do y'all realize that Saquon Barkley's production fell off a cliff? Saquon Barkley's production fell off a cliff. I mean, I'm going to tell you, when running backs' production fall off, it's very rare. It's very rare they're the same again. It's very rare. I believe the Philadelphia Eagles are on the decline. I believe they're on the decline. So I want to look back at this Dallas Cowboys schedule. Because I believe when you look at this Dallas Cowboys schedule, how does Myles Garrett and A.J. Brown affect the Dallas Cowboys schedule? I don't think Myles Garrett I don't think he affects the Dallas Cowboys schedule. At this point, there is only one game that Myles Garrett affects at this point in time, and that is the game on December the 20th. That is the game that Myles Garrett is going to affect. That's it. Now, if the Rams are actually pretty good, which we all kind of think they're going to be, Myles Garrett may actually help us as in beating some of the teams in our own division, as well as beating some of the teams that we have to play similar. So they may help like that. But I'm telling y'all this. George Pickens. With George Pickens, we actually have the kind of offense that can go up against the Rams defense. We have the kind of offense. The Dallas Cowboys with George Pickens, the addition of Michael Trigg, Ryan Flanoy getting better and better, and Dak Prescott, the savvy veteran, we have the kind of offense that can actually go up against the Rams defense. We used to say, Bass, you know how you and me, we use these ebonics sometimes. Back in the day, we say we ain't never scared. We didn't say scared, we say scared. Oh, we ain't never scared. We have an offense that says we ain't never scared. There should not be a defense in the league that puts fear in Dak Prescott in this offense. I don't care if the Rams did get Myles Garrett. That defense should not put fear into the Dallas Cowboys. That defense should not put fear in the Dallas Cowboys. In actuality, our offense should put fear into the Rams defense. We ain't scared. What we scared of? We got Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens, Cooper Beebe, Tyler Smith. Now, the only person I'm really concerned about, we got Ty Booker. Who I'm concerned about is Tyler Guyton. That's who I'm concerned about is Tyler Guyton. But when you think about, we got Javonte Williams in the background, in the backfield. I mean, you think about our tight end room. Now that we got Michael Trigg in there. And I'm not even thinking about Ferg as much as I'm thinking about Michael Trigg and Brevin Spann-Ford getting more snaps. The Dallas Cowboys offense should never be scared. Never. Who? Why would they be afraid? And someone said earlier that George Pickens isn't going to give his best. George Pickens better give his best. I don't know what someone was talking about on that. Man, George Pickens is in a contract year. George Pickens is in a contract year. whether it be with the Cowboys or somebody else. George Pickens is in a contract year. George better go out there and ball absolutely out of his mind. He better ball out of his mind. Man, if I'm George Pickens, I'm not dropping a napkin in 2026. I'm not dropping a napkin. Shoot, man, I'm telling you right now. If I'm George Pickens in 2026, I'm sleeping standing up. I'm telling you right now. I'm sleeping standing up if I'm George Pickens in 2026. There is nothing, if I'm George Pickens, that's going to stop me from getting this bag in 2027. I'm getting the bag. If I'm George Pickens, I'm getting the bag in 2027. I'm telling Dak Prescott all year long, I'm open. I'm 7-11 up in this thing. I'm 7-11. Even when I'm not open this year, Dak, I'm open. I'm telling Dak Prescott I'm open, and nobody gets an interception when you throw the ball my way. If I'm George Pickens, I'm telling you right now, they are going to have to get me off the field every single game on a stretcher. If I'm George Pickens, I'm giving it all I got. Know what people talking about. This man about to get a $40 million bag. George Pickens is about to get a $40 million bag. And at the bare minimum, a $60 million bag, because he'll get 27 this year, 33 next year, 60 million guaranteed, and then he can walk off into the sunset, and he'll only be 26 years old. He'll still be able to get him a huge deal. What? Man, I don't know what people are talking about. They must be thinking that George Pickens is thinking like them. George Pickens better not be thinking like broke folk. George Pickens better not be thinking about broke folk. George Pickens better start thinking and better be thinking like a millionaire. And I think he's been thinking like one. That dude is going to go out here this year and ball out. And if he don't think like what I'm saying, he gonna miss that bag. Because the only thing a team is going to do when they watch George Pickens not giving it 100% is they're going to say, he ain't playing good because the Cowboys didn't give him what he wanted. He's sulking. He's pouting. It's the same old George Pickens from Pittsburgh. George can't afford that. This man got to ball out. This man's got to ball out. And I believe he is going to ball out. It's a contract year. And what I'm about to tell you in another 5 minutes, George Pickens has got $100 million guaranteed on the line. George Pickens has $100 million guaranteed on the line. Now, when we look at A.J. Brown, do y'all remember I have coined the term? I have coined the term of Philly to Philly. How does Philly to Philly look now with no A.J. Brown? How does Philly to Philly look now with no A.J. Brown? How does Philly look? Where I thought that, okay, Philly will probably be able to split these two games with the Cowboys. Without A.J. Brown? I'm telling y'all before anybody else tells you this. And I don't know, maybe somebody else have told you, because it's not like I'm out here listening to what everybody's saying. Maybe somebody's already told you. But if somebody hasn't already told you, what have I been telling you now for 2 weeks? This schedule from the Eagles to the Eagles is going to determine the Dallas Cowboys playoff fate. That right there. From the Eagles to the Eagles. From the Eagles to the Eagles, it will determine the Dallas Cowboys playoff fate. You watch what I tell you. That part of the Cowboys schedule, A.J. Brown is going to affect this part of the Dallas Cowboys schedule because of these bookend games. The Dallas Cowboys, I am predicting, these are predictions, it don't mean it's going to happen. But I'm going to tell you, you're going to call me a prophet before it's over. If everything stays the same, Cowboys stays healthy, and this offense just rolls like it did last year, the Cowboys are sweeping the Eagles. I'm saying it. I'm saying it. I believe the Cowboys are sweeping the Eagles. Christian Legal, he says, I think we're sweeping the division. Christian Legal, let me tell you why I am. I believe we're sweeping the Eagles. I believe we're sweeping the Giants. The only team in question is the Commanders, and I know we're going to beat them at home. And if we're rocking and rolling the way that we're supposed to, Christian Legal, watch this. The only way I believe the Cowboys don't sweep the division is because the January 10th game may absolutely mean nothing. The Cowboys' playoff fate may actually be solidified by the New York Giants game on January 3rd. I'm just telling us. Their playoff fate may actually be solidified. And this is the very reason why the NFL has this last game is to be determined. Because they're saying it could mean something, and if it means something, we're going to put it at a prime time slot. But if it doesn't mean anything, well, and I don't know how you do this with the Dallas Cowboys, but we'll put it at a place to where it doesn't mean anything. We won't prioritize the game. The Cowboys, the only reason or way they don't sweep this thing is because the Commanders game may mean absolutely nothing. It may mean absolutely nothing. Bottom line. This A.J. Brown, I'm telling us, it is going to have an effect on the Eagles that people are not realizing. And I know, they weren't throwing it to him anyway. Well, they might not have been throwing it to him anyway, but it's really going to be a different level when you don't have him to throw to. Shoot, tell me anything you want to. Shoot. Tell me anything you want to. Bazzy9, what up, Bazzy? Bazzy said career season incoming from GP3. I agree. Shoot, I'm telling you right now, I'm sleeping standing up. I'm sleeping standing up. Baz said, I remember we were talking about his contract and what he could get before he was tagged and signed it. Pittman said GP3 easily command $100 million. I believe it, G. Oh, it's $100 million. It's now $100 million. I'm about to tell you why. It is $100 million, and I'm about to tell you why. Man, I'm gonna have to do Cowboys After Dark tonight. Demetrius Noel, he said, G, people are forgetting the only reason the Cowboys didn't sweep the Eagles last year was because Lamb had the dropsies. Yes, sir. Man, I'm telling these boys going, if everything stays the same, it's June. Cowboys got to go through the same thing everybody else got to go through. It's a battle of attrition. So we got to see everybody's got to stay healthy all the way through the season. This is why we got to make sure we get this dude. We got to get Guyton up to speed, man. What's up, Richard Baptiste? Ice Cold said, if you sleep upside down, I might be leery, though, man. Let me tell you something. I'm sleeping standing up, bro. Let me tell you something, bro. I might pull a Ocho Cinco, man. Ocho Cinco moved into the facility, bro. I'm George Pickens. I might move into the facility, man. Baz said Gino whipped out his pootie tank, man. I'm gonna have to go after dark tonight, man. I'm gonna have to go after dark tonight, bro. I'm telling us, man. I'm excited about this Cowboys team, even if we didn't get Myles Garrett. I am so excited about this Cowboys team. But this thing with A.J. Brown, y'all, it helps us. It absolutely helps us. It helps us. This league's looking, the NFC East, man, let me tell you something. For everybody worried about Myles Garrett, you cannot worry about Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett is in the NFC West. The Dallas Cowboys are in the NFC East. You cannot be worried about a team in the NFC West. You have to be worried about the NFC East because the key for this situation, the key for Myles Garrett to even be a problem for the Cowboys is the Cowboys have to win the NFC East. That's it. That's it. Got to win the NFC East. You can't consume yourself with Myles Garrett. None of us should be concerning ourselves with Myles Garrett. Do we wish we would have got him? Yeah. Duh. I mean, we ain't dumb. Yeah, but we ain't dumb. It's not like we didn't want him. And I don't believe it's like the Cowboys didn't go for him. But what the Cowboys have to worry about is not Myles Garrett. And Cowboys fans shouldn't be worried about Myles Garrett. What the Cowboys fans should be worried about is this right here. The NFC East. That's it. NFC East. This is the first step in the Cowboys going to the playoffs. On paper, the Cowboys should be the creme de la creme of the NFC East. Right now. Right now. RATNOW. Right now. Yeah. Yeah. The Cowboys are the creme de la creme of this division. And if they can sweep this division, and I'm willing to bet they're going to at least win 5 of the 6 games in this division, you already got 5 wins. You already got 5 wins. Poobie D. That's it. Win the division, we in the playoffs. That's what the Cowboys got to focus on. We can't be focused on Myles Garrett, y'all. Can't be focused on no doggone Myles Garrett. Got time to be crying over Myles Garrett? We can beat these teams without Myles Garrett. You better believe we can. We can win the NFC East without Myles Garrett. And if we go 5 out of 6, possibly 6 out of 6 in this division, do y'all realize if we go 5 out of 6 or 6 out of 6, that means now the Cowboys, if they go 5 out of 6 or 6 out of 6, all they need over those next 11 games, can they get 5 wins? Can they get 5 wins or better? If you beat everybody in the division, that's 6 wins. If you beat 5 out of 6 in the division, that's 5 wins. So you telling me in 11 games, the Dallas Cowboys on that schedule? Are we saying that on that schedule, the Dallas Cowboys can at least get 5 more wins? Come on, man. Come on, man. Come on, man. Hold on. Let's pull this up real quick before we get up out of here. I got a meeting. Got a meeting at 7:30. I'm gonna go all the way to the horn on that meeting. I'm gonna go all the way to the horn on this though before we get out of here. But I want us to look at this. Look at this Cowboys schedule again, man. Look at this Cowboys schedule. I'm telling y'all this Cowboys schedule is designed for the Dallas Cowboys to succeed. A lot of people think that this schedule is hard. This schedule is actually designed for the Cowboys to succeed. You think about this. The Cowboys got 2 of these division games within the first, the first 6 games of the season. They open up with the Giants. The second game is against the Commanders. So the Cowboys get those 2 games. You got the Ravens, you got the Texans, you got the Bucks, and the Green Bay Packers. If you beat the Giants and the Commanders, so you're telling me out of the next 4 games, the Cowboys are going on a 4-game slide? What? I'm not believing it. I'm not believing it. I'm not going to believe the Cowboys are going to go on a 4-game slide after winning the first 2 games of the season. Of these 4 games, the Cowboys at least got to win 2 if they win these 2 games in the division. You got to at least get 2 in here. I believe the Cowboys will get 2 in here. And if they do this, they beat the Giants, they beat the Commanders, they get 2 of these 4. Do we realize the Cowboys in the first 6 games are 4-2? If I told y'all the Dallas Cowboys were 4-6 in the Cowboys were 4-2 in the first 6 games, how would you feel? How would you feel if I told you the Cowboys were 4-2 in their first 6 games? Then the Cowboys, I'm telling you before anyone else tells you, this is going to be the determiner of the Cowboys' playoff hopes. From the Eagles to the Eagles. If we believe that in these 6 games, they're going to sweep the Eagles, are we seeing this? This means the Cowboys, I'm sorry, but we better beat the Cardinals in Dallas this year. The Indianapolis Colts, we don't know what Danny Dimes going to look like. This game against the 49ers will be tough. It'll be in Dallas. We got the Titans in Dallas. We got the Eagles in Dallas, the 49ers in Dallas, the Cardinals. Do y'all realize in those middle 6 games, we have 4 games at home? Do what? I'm telling y'all, Philly to Philly is going to determine whether or not the Cowboys go to the playoffs. Bottom line. The Cowboys have got to get 5 of the 6 of these games. They at least have to get 5 of the 6. You got the Eagles, you should be able to beat them on the road. You got the Cardinals at home, Colts on the road, 49ers at home, Titans at home, Eagles at home. I'm sorry. That should be a minimum of winning all 4 of those home games. Minimum. There is no reason why the Dallas Cowboys, if this defense can just be mid-pack, we're not even talking about if Christian Parker pull off a miracle. We're not even talking about that part. We're not even talking about if he pull off a miracle and this defense come out just banging. I'm telling y'all now, y'all can hold me to this. Mark my words. Philly to Philly is the key. Philly to Philly is the key. They have set the Cowboys up to win 5 of 6, minimum 4 of 6 in this right here. This is the determiner. This is it. Because I am telling you that by the time the Cowboys come out of these first, by the time they come out of these first 11 games, somewhere in there, the Cowboys should have at least 7 wins in the first 11 games. What if I told you in the first 11 games the Cowboys are 7-4? How would you feel? How would you feel if the Cowboys were 7-4? What is that? 7-4? Wait. So that would be 12 games. So what if I told you the Cowboys were either 8-4 or 7-5 going into the last 5 games of the season? How would you feel? Because I'm telling you right now, 8-4, I'm on cloud 9. 8-4, I'm on cloud 9. Because if you're telling me the Cowboys are 8-4 and they got these 5 games left, and I know that the Cowboys can at least get these 2, can they pull off a win in here? Seahawks, Rams, Jaguars. I believe the floor for the Cowboys is 10 to 11 wins. I think that's the floor. That's the floor. 10 to 11 wins. Anything after that, it's going to be gravy. They got to win the division. They have to win the division first, and then can they get to that 11-win, 12-game mark? Because I'm telling you right now, you get to that 11-win mark, you're probably somewhere up there in the 4th or the 5th seed. Hey, I'm just telling you, 11 wins, you're probably in the 4th or 5th spot. We don't have to worry about Myles Garrett. What we are concerned with is winning the division. And A.J. Brown being out of the division helps the Dallas Cowboys. absolutely helps the Dallas Cowboys. All right. Somebody just notified me I got a meeting. All right, Cowboys fans. I'm going to take this meeting, and we have about 3 or 4 topics. I believe we'll have more topics when I come back tonight, but I'm going to give you the Pickens news. You're probably already, it really isn't Pickens news per se. But this news actually affects George Pickens. So I'll be back tonight. For all of y'all who don't know about Cowboys After Dark, I'm going to do Cowboys After Dark. It'll be around 11 p.m. It may be midnight Central Time. I don't know what that means in your area. But I will be back tonight no later than midnight. Y'all get ready. We're going to have Cowboys After Dark, and we're going to finish this conversation on the NFC East, and then we're going to get to this Pickens, the Parker effect, talk about the Super Bowl, and then we're going to talk about this 100-day prediction. All right, guys, I got a meeting to go to. I appreciate y'all rocking with me. I'll see y'all later on tonight. Until then, DC4L, God bless. Let's talk Cowboys and we talk facts. Peace.